Welcome to Eerie, Britain, your gateway to the haunted heart of the United Kingdom. From eerie whispers in forgotten villages to spine-chilling tales of ancient cities, we uncover the ghostly secrets lurking in every corner of the UK. But this channel isn't just about our stories, it's about yours too. Have you experienced something unexplained? A haunting that sent shivers down your spine? Share your ghostly encounters with us and we might feature them in an upcoming video. Join our growing community of paranormal explorers. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a tale of restless spirits, haunted mansions or spine-tingling mysteries. Your voice matters. Comment or share your story. Let's uncover the truth behind the shadows together. So light a candle, gather your courage and become part of the story. Because the ghosts are waiting and their stories must be told.
The Leicestershire air chills as daylight fades. Hinckley marketplace, bustling with shoppers just moments before, begins to empty. Shadows lengthen and deepen, stretching across the cobblestones of Castle Street. Shop lights flicker on, casting a sickly yellow glow against the encroaching night. This is when the transformation begins. Castle Street, once a place of commerce and laughter, takes on a different air. An unsettling stillness descends, broken only by the distant rumble of a lorry on the bypass. Footsteps echo unnaturally loud on the pavement. The street is holding its breath. As darkness deepens, the street lamps cast strange, shifting shadows, a trick of the light perhaps, or something more sinister. For those who know the stories, a chill crawls down their spines. They hurry past, eyes fixed ahead, unwilling to tempt fate. For this is the hour of Eleanor. The year is 1612. Fear and superstition grip the nation. A woman stands accused. Her name, Eleanor, her crime, witchcraft. Eleanor, a woman of simple means, lived alone on Castle Street. She was different, an outsider. Her knowledge of herbs and remedies, whispered in hushed tones, marked her as suspicious. When misfortune struck the town, a sudden illness, a failed harvest, fingers pointed to Eleanor. The trial was a sham. Her protestations of innocence fell on deaf ears. The evidence? Hearsay and superstition. The verdict? A foregone conclusion. Eleanor, condemned as a witch, met her end on the gallows, her screams echoing through the market square. But her story did not end there. Over the centuries, whispers turned to stories. Stories of strange happenings on Castle Street, objects moving inexplicably, candles extinguishing in a sudden cold breeze, footsteps following close behind only to vanish upon turning. And then the sightings began, a fleeting glimpse of a woman in rags, her face obscured by shadow, a feeling of being watched, a cold presence brushing past in the dark. The faint scent of lavender, Eleanor's favourite, lingering in the air. Some dismissed it as folklore, the ramblings of the superstitious, but others, those who had experienced the unexplainable on Castle Street, knew better. Eleanor was back, and she was seeking justice. One cold November evening, a young couple strolled hand in hand down Castle Street. As they passed the old apothecary, said to be the site of Eleanor's cottage, the woman felt a sudden chill. Turning, she saw her. A woman in a tattered grey dress, her back to them, staring intently at the ground. Before the young woman could speak, the figure vanished. Another witness, a shopkeeper locking up for the night, reported seeing a shadowy figure dart across the back of his shop, disappearing into thin air. He had felt a cold hand on his neck just moments before, a feeling he couldn't shake for days. A group of teenagers, daring each other to walk the length of Castle Street at midnight, scattered in fear as they heard a blood-curdling scream pierce the night. Was it the ghost of Eleanor crying out against her unjust fate? Why does Eleanor's spirit linger on Castle Street? Some believe she is trapped, unable to find peace after her unjust death. Others say she's seeking revenge on the descendants of those who condemned her. Paranormal investigators have flocked to Castle Street, drawn by its dark history and the numerous accounts of paranormal activity. EVP recordings have captured disembodied voices whispering Eleanor's name. Electromagnetic field detectors have spiked wildly in her presence. Whether seeking retribution or simply longing for peace, one thing is certain: Eleanor's spirit remains a powerful presence on Castle Street. As you walk the cobblestone streets of Hinckley, be wary as twilight falls. Pay heed to the stories whispered on the wind, for the ghost of Eleanor is not just a legend, she is a warning from the past, a reminder that injustice can echo through the centuries. If you dare to walk Castle Street after dark, tread carefully. Do not speak her name aloud, for she is listening. And if you feel a cold breath on your neck or catch a glimpse of a shadowy figure in the corner of your eye, do not linger. You have been warned. The haunting of Castle Street continues to this day. Perhaps you have a story of your own, a chilling encounter, an unexplainable experience. Do not keep it to yourself. Share your story, for the truth lies in the telling, and the spirit of Eleanor, forever bound to this place, may finally find the peace she seeks. Burbage Common, a haven of peace. Just outside Hinckley in Leicestershire, families gather, walkers stroll sun-dappled paths, birds sing. The common breathes serenity. But dusk approaches, shadows lengthen, the sun begins its descent, the warmth of the day fades, a chill creeps into the air. The laughter of children is replaced by the rustle of leaves. As twilight deepens, a hush falls. The paths, once bustling, are deserted. An unsettling stillness descends. Night falls. The familiar becomes unfamiliar. The darkness whispers. The late 1700s. Clara, a young seamstress, lived simply, known for her kindness and gentle spirit. One stormy evening she set off, her heart heavy, foreboding in the air. The wind howled, a symphony of dread. Clara never reached her destination. Search parties scoured the forest. Her body lay cold and lifeless. Clara's death shocked the community. Time passed. Seasons changed. Life in the village continued, but Clara's death lingered. Travelers told tales of a woman in white, a figure in the distance, always alone. Some claimed to hear her weeping. A mournful sound carried on the wind. Others felt a sudden chill. A feeling of dread sank into their bones. One crisp autumn evening, a young couple ventured onto the common. They were unfazed by the stories. Love, they believed, could conquer all. They strolled hand in hand, their laughter jarring in the stillness. The setting sun cast long, menacing shadows. The air grew colder as darkness descended. The silence felt oppressive. They reached a clearing. Moonlight painted the ground in silver light. A sudden drop in temperature. A chill pierced through their coats, a presence lurking just beyond the moonlight. The stories persisted, each more chilling than the last. A jogger, making his way through the common, felt a prickle of unease. He quickened his pace, his breath misting in the cooling air. His footfalls echoed unnaturally loud. He thought he heard footsteps, keeping pace with his own. He glanced over his shoulder, but no one was there, just the trees swaying in the breeze. He told himself it was his imagination, the stories playing tricks on his mind. He pushed himself harder, his heart pounding, but the footsteps continued, closer now. There she stood, a figure from a nightmare, pale as moonlight, her gown billowing, her face a mask of sorrow. Her eyes glinted in the darkness. He wanted to scream, but couldn't move. His breath caught in his throat. The figure glided closer. He closed his eyes, hoping to wake up, but she was closer, her face inches from his. Word of the jogger's encounter spread quickly. Some dismissed it as a hallucination, a trick of the light. Others, however, listened with a growing sense of dread, that something evil lurked in the darkness of Burbage Common. The friends huddled closer to the fire, feeling the weight of unseen eyes. The others fell silent, listening. Then they heard it, a soft, mournful sigh. Slow footsteps on dry leaves. They huddled closer. The footsteps grew louder. Suddenly the fire flared, and they saw her. The campers didn't hesitate. With screams, they scrambled to their feet, scattering in all directions. They didn't stop until they reached the road, hearts pounding, lungs burning, tents, sleeping bags, food, all abandoned in their haste. The next morning, they cautiously returned to find the clearing deserted. The only evidence was a single lantern, broken and extinguished where Clara had stood. Burbage Common's haunting tales didn't remain local lore. Whispers of Clara's ghost and the campers' terror reached those seeking to pierce the veil. Paranormal investigators arrived with their instruments and theories. They saw Burbage Common as a place where the veil thinned, where the energy of a tragic death resonated. They sought evidence, hoping to capture a glimpse of the spectral. Their investigations focused on the most active areas. The investigators came armed with tools of the paranormal trade. EMF meters, their needles dancing in response to unseen energy. Infrared cameras capturing heat signatures. Digital audio recorders straining to pick up whispers. They set up their equipment in the dead of night. The air grew heavy, charged with energy. They waited, senses on high alert. And then the evidence began to surface. Temperature drops, plunging the air into an unnatural chill, unexplained noises, rustling leaves, disembodied footsteps. The investigators pored over their findings, searching for patterns, understanding the spectral realm, comparing notes, debating theories, seeking answers. Some believed Clara's spirit was trapped. They sought to communicate to help her move on, held vigils, spoke her name, listened for answers. Others theorized Clara chose to remain, seeking justice, her spirit restless until her killer was found. The digital age, instant connectivity, sharing experiences with a tap, Burbage Common, once local legend, now woven into the internet. Modern encounters captured on smartphones add a chilling chapter to Clara's legend. Social media buzzes with stories. Hashtags like #BurbageCommon and #ClarasGhost link a community of witnesses and skeptics. Photos, videos, and audio recordings create a digital map of fear. Blurry, fleeting glimpses captured in the dead of night. Emily, a university student, scoffed at ghost stories. Urban legends, she thought, were for children. One evening she walked her dog Alfie at sunset. Shadows danced as she walked. Alfie bounded ahead, oblivious to her unease. She felt a chill, as if a cold hand brushed her cheek. Then she heard it, a soft, mournful sigh, seemingly coming from the very air around her. It was followed by the sound of footsteps, slow and deliberate, crunching on the dry leaves beneath the trees. Alfie whimpered, pulling at his leash, desperate to get away. Emily's heart pounded in her chest. She wanted to run, but something held her rooted to the spot. A strange mix of fear and curiosity kept her gaze fixed. The footsteps grew louder, closer, until it sounded as if whoever or whatever was standing just feet away. Emily closed her eyes, bracing herself for whatever was to come. But when she opened her eyes again, there was nothing there. The footsteps had stopped, the sighing had ceased, and the woods were silent once more. Alfie whined again, tugging at his leash, his eyes wide with fear. Emily didn't hesitate any longer. She turned and ran, Alfie bounding beside her, not stopping until they reached the sanctuary of the well-lit streets. Clara's story is a tragedy. A young life cut short, a brutal end on a path she had walked countless times. Her murder, unsolved, echoes through time, a chilling reminder that some wounds never heal. Burbage Common, for all its beauty, bears the weight of her story. The trees whisper her name, the wind carries her mournful sigh, the air thick with her sorrow. Does Clara's spirit walk the common, seeking justice for her murder, or is she simply lost, unable to find peace in the afterlife? The answer, like the mist that shrouds Burbage Common, remains elusive. But the stories continue to captivate and chill us. So, the next time you walk on Burbage Common, remember Clara's story. Listen closely to the whispers on the wind, for you never know who or what might be watching.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't have nightmares.